Hey everyone, we're back for another installment of TV Dinner. We're still watching Doctor Death. I almost said Doctor Love. This man is not a doctor of love.
No.
Still watching Doctor Death. Uh, if you watched our last episode, that was for episodes 3 and 4. Today we're talking about 5 and 6. We're close to the end of the season. It's only 8 episodes for this season, and then we may watch season 2 in the future. But for right now, we'll talk about 5 and 6.
Yeah, and it like the way 6 ends, you kind of see this is like the starting of the end.
Yeah.
He's kind of at the fat level that you saw him in the beginning of the show and everything. So okay, this is where we kind of catch him and everything.
He's getting locked up.
Yeah.
About to
So,
Akon that shit.
I don't know. I think this one, again with the tension, I feel like these two episodes just it tells you the first episode or 5, it kind of leads into it sort of ends with like this is where his friend gets messed up, and then it's like that tension, and then it continues on into episode 6 of the tension of what happens to his friend and everything. And it's just like, I don't know, that was like heartbreaking.
Brought in too.
Yeah, the original woman, right? The one that was like standing in the corner of like the original meeting and stuff. And I figured she was going to come into play, and I thought so.
The young hotshot lawyer.
Yeah,
that the scenes with the friend were so sad, but the fact that like the friend had to have some assumptions that his friend was a piece of shit doctor. Like, there's no way he didn't know that. The video, like, yeah, he saw the video of like, oh, best doctors in Dallas or whatever, but he had to have known that his friend was a terrible doctor.
I don't know. Like, he was like his hype man and everything. Like, he's the one that like actually like got that video made of him and everything. Yeah. Kind of signed him up for like that. So we kind of assume that there's awards out there that you can kind of pay enough money and they'll give you that award.
That's like the 30
best
for 30.
Doctor.
They say like 30 for 30s like that. Like, if you pay enough money or if you know the right people, they can slide you in there.
Yeah, like they had that issue with the Fortune 500s and stuff, or like like all those like problematic people and everything. So it's like you are able to kind of buy your fame or buy your reputation. And then we kind of saw the aftermath of like this, of like what happens when that goes wrong. We're seeing it more often now where like a lot of people are kind of making up these stories. It's very poignant where like this story is unique to its like field, I guess, being a doctor and stuff. And like, that's a scary thing, but it's not new. And we're seeing it more often.
CEOs and stuff for like tech.
Right.
And well, other healthcare, because Theranos, that whole situation.
Yeah, so it's sort of like going back to the selling the snake oil and stuff, and he was selling snake oil hard.
So I have a question for you. If you were in the friend's situation, so you tell your best friend, say I'm Dr. Duntsch. I tell you, I got you. You don't have to worry about anything. You're going to be fixed. So you go through the first surgery, and then you're paralyzed. You can't move. Do you come back for the second surgery, or you just call it like, hey, I got a little bit of feeling or something's starting to come back, I'm going to stick it out? Or do you go for that second one?
I don't know. That second one seemed like it was also, he was like not knowing of that second one, where like the whole thing with the consent, that he had to consent to the surgery, but he can't. Dr. Duntsch or yourself in this situation got a family member to consent on the surgery. So like for myself, and it's like that, I don't know, man. It's like, I feel like if I woke up from that second surgery, I was definitely kicking myself. And then it almost seemed like it got worse too. He's like in this brace and he's getting like sponge baths and everything. And like, you feel it, where I would probably do the same thing, where like you kind of have to throw your friend under the bus.
Yeah.
And sadly,
screwed at that point.
Yeah. Because you're kind of in that situation where the guy's like, I have no life to live anymore. Where it's like, hey, granted there is and everything, like, but it's not going to be the same thing as you kind of walked into and everything. And what you promised me, where it was like, now a life without pain. And now I don't feel anything. And that's not a good thing.
And Duntsch just shoulder shrug, like, I thought I had you. It's all good, right?
Man.
We're still besties.
I felt it, man. I was like, that's messed up. It's
that
like,
was heartbreaking, man. Like,
but to flip the question to yourself, where it's like, I don't know, like, do you see yourself being swayed by the quick talk of like Dr. Duntsch, where it's like that? Granted, that's like one of the biggest cases, or like the biggest like behaviors in the case, where it's like he was able to convince a lot of these people of this grandiose things, and like be confident in himself. But I don't know, it's like, it's hard to say, like, do you see yourself falling prey to that?
Yeah, because, and that is the situation. It's like, that's his best friend. He thinks his best friend has his best intentions. And yeah, being me, I couldn't see myself, like, after waking up and not having feeling and just having very limited mobility after the first surgery. I would be like, hey, I can't do it. You promised me one thing. It obviously it didn't work.
It got worse.
I don't want a second one. Yeah. Like, I was walking a couple of days ago. I can walk, I can drive a car. Now I'm stuck in a bed, man. Like,
I don't know. Like, it was good in episode 5, where you saw where people that believed in him are beginning to see the wrong in his, like, the chick that wants to kind of have an affair with him and be his like superstar nurse and stuff and everything.
No, but she's a piece of shit though, because she saw all of this go down. She was in the operating room, and she still allowed it to continue instead of raising her hand and being like, we got to stop this. Like, I can't work here. I'm going to call the board or whatever needs to be done. So yeah, no, she's a piece of shit.
But that's also a question. Like, I really liked how the assistant district attorney, the young lawyer, was like, had to ask the question to Dr. Kirby, or Christian Slater's character, where it's like, you were actually in one of these surgeries. So that's true. And that was years ago. So why is this still happening and stuff? And it's like the fact that I wrote down, I was like, the fact that there's politics allowed inside of an operating room means there's something going wrong. Like, that's a wrong thing to kind of have as an assumption too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's politics and everything, man.
But it's like when you're like put to sleep. I don't know. I've never had surgery, and I like fear for the day that I have to have surgery, because I hate the fact that like you can't control the situation, because like you're literally unable to do anything, and so it's like
else's mercy.
Yeah, right.
I did. I went under the knife once, and it wasn't for like, it was oral surgery. It was wisdom teeth being removed, and I was like 15 or 16, so I couldn't sign the consent. My mom signed it, and I just remember them doing the anesthesia. They say, "Hey, count down from 100." I got to like 97, and I was out. And then woke up and I was a zombie. So it's like, you don't know what happened. It's not like anybody's in the room watching over these people that are cutting you open. You just hope for the best. And then, I was a straight up zombie. Like,
and that was a successful surgery, and I'm assuming. And so it's like, and then when like everyone always talks about like when these important people have bad days, like what happens when the doctor has a bad day and stuff, and like, or your operator, or the anesthesiologist person and everything. But it's like, you're hoping that
the day you go in,
everyone has bad days and stuff. That does happen, but you're hoping the one time that you're going in, that does not happen.
You got to start bringing flowers and candy anytime you have surgery. Right. Like, hey, you're having a good day, right?
Or you're having a bunch of like juju come into the operating room, but like, just say something and say a prayer and then see what happens. No, I liked it. It was funny in episode 5 where it was funny. Christian Slater's character is like over the top, where he's like overly confident and in your face, but he's a good doctor and he's a good operator. And it's like when the overconfidence of Dr. Duntsch's makes him uncomfortable, where it's like, that's a bad thing. Yeah, it's like, well, that's a bad sign for everybody around here.
Yeah, like, I'm good, but bro, I know where to stop the line. Like, you're doing too much,
right?
And he was a young doctor still. Like, that's the thing that gets you, is like, you don't really know anything. Like, yeah, be confident, but don't be overly confident.
Yeah, and it's like you saw it with like the or like the discussion when he got hired on at that Baylor place, where it like she was like the head of whatever and stuff, the management position that hired him, where it's like, oh, you have the confidence of someone that like is like years down the road, where like they're the best at what they do, so they're like, all right, well, I'm gonna start this like fantastic thing. I'm gonna do my own wing at this like Baylor hospital, and this guy's like barely has any surgeries under his belt. And
he's like, I want $1 billion and startups and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's like, you started last week. What are you talking about?
I know, right? Like, you just had one surgery and it went bad.
You clipped a toenail and it went wrong. Like, chill. So yeah, I'm excited for. I can definitely say this has kept my attention better than Bodies did. So I'm excited for 7 and 8.
Yeah, that is true, because like Bodies, it's funny because there's a sharp contrast where it's like, I think, do you think it's because we have this understanding that this is a real story, that this actually happened? Like, does that add more kind of to our head? We're like, oh crap, like this happened, and also this could happen in the future too. And this is like where Bodies was like more like, yes, like what happens in Bodies happens and stuff, except for the time travel. But this seems more real, and I think that's what adds to like the intrigue and the tension and the suspense.
I think that's a part of it, but I think Bodies just became too convoluted. Like, it got to the point where it's like, okay, we know there's time travel, we got the backstory of it, let's end it here. Like, that's all we need to know. We don't need to know what happens or why he did what he did. And they just decided to give us like some bonus episodes, is how it felt. Like, hey, we have all these extra ideas, let's put it into an episode and give it to them. Instead of being like, hey, we gave you everything you need in 6 episodes. That's all you need. We don't need extras. Like, if we have season 2, we can dive back into it if necessary. But 6 is good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Where it's like these 6 episodes that we watched of Dr. Death have been super suspenseful, super intriguing. Thrilling. And then you assume the next episode, you're like, now it's the fight to convict them.
Yes.
Or the courtroom fight. And then episode 8, I would assume if you like start off that episode like, oh, he's convicted. But then I want to know in episode 8 or whatever, once he's convicted, did you go after the other people too that kind of like allowed this to happen? Because like now we were talking about putting our noses up. Those people are putting up their noses because I was just doing my job.
He told me everything I wanted to hear, and he was so great and eloquent. Is probably what they're going to say.
I don't know. Well, that therapist, I was like, man, that therapist needs to lose his license for something, because it's like, like he seems totally normal. I think anybody that has any form of education can say, or anything, like can look at him and be like, you're not normal. Like, that's not.
Red flags, red flags, red flags. Like,
yeah, that's my question. It's like, all right, we know he gets convicted because this whole series starts off that he's in prison.
Yeah.
So then I want to know if he gets his due, and whether or not, I think it's like to the point where like the assistant district attorney, where it's like, I want him to rot and die in prison. But then also I want to know myself what happened to the other people and stuff. And it's like, do those people get held accountable and stuff, or are they protected by the politics of like organizations that like, oh, that was an HR issue, like go fire them.
Well, it seemed like some of them have already done that, or have already kind of stated that, like, oh, well, I didn't know, or oh, we only did X, Y, and Z. So they were already trying to cover their asses. So we'll see. Hopefully they were convicted, and it's a real story, but we'll see how it all plays out.
It definitely is going to be interesting, and I'm excited for these next 2 episodes. And granted, there's a second season, and it's a totally different doctor and stuff, and it's like
which is horrifying, actually.
Right? Horrifying. The fact that you can sell a story and be like, all right, the first season, this guy killed a bunch of people. And then we want a second season because there's another doctor.
And they're just cooking up a third season. It's like, yo, how many bad doctors are out there, man? We need to be protected.
Yeah, right? But I don't know. But I'm definitely excited. I think I'm not on the fence anymore of like recommending this. I think we ended the last episode of TV Dinner like thinking like, all right, like we'll recommend it to people that love kind of like true crime. But I definitely would kind of like walk around and be like, have you seen? It's a sketchy. It's a very hard subject to take to watch and stuff in like this dramatic form. But I don't know. It's like by the seat of your pants, you're like just sitting there, like you're just almost angered by like what the hell happened.
You want to jump through the TV, like I'll help you. I actually recommended this show to somebody yesterday. I went to a friend's birthday dinner, and we were chatting about TV shows. And I was like, "Have you seen Dr. Death? Like I've been watching it. You should check it out."
And then you're like, "Do you know this YouTube channel called Saturday Night Popcorn?"
Have you seen his face before?
Yeah.
You want to see it on camera?
No, but I really enjoy this and stuff, and I'm excited for the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, me too.
Well, just to end it here, let us know if you've seen episode 5 and 6 of Dr. Death season 1 on Peacock. And please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Saturday Night Popcorn, for more TV dinners like this.